You know, there are moments that I question my decisions. One of these moments came out this time. And that moment is that I question why, instead of going to watch the Bohemian Rhapsody, I decided to go watch the Nutcracker and the Four Realms. I heard that the Bohemian Rhapsody has some mixed reviews, but I bet that I will have a better time than watching the piece of garbage that I just watched. Yep, I said it right now. Disney's The Nutcracker and the Four Realms is one of the worst movies I have seen this year, and really high on my list. It didn't make me as angry as Show Dogs, but you can tell that that was a terrible movie. Lots of things is bad. Okay, let me put you a little bit into perspective that the Nutcracker is, it's kind of like one of the most overused pieces of music and stories that in media. I mean, it's even, I think that it is one of the most abused stories other than the Christmas Carol for Christmas holidays. I mean, I can say why. I can see why. It's a charming story. The music made by Tchaikovsky is yes, Tchaikovsky. I said it right, just in case. Sometimes the way how you speak it it kind of rolls my tongue. It's memorable. The music is memorable. I've seen parodies. I've seen some movies out of it. Some were good, some were bad, some were questionable. Yep, I'm talking about the infamous Nutcracker 3D. This one, oh boy. Let me say this. You know that the Nutcracker 3D is considered one of the worst adaptations of the Nutcracker in history because of the Nazi symbolism, the grim colors, apparently the nightmare fuel that it gives out, and very clumsy, incompetent storytelling. Let me tell you that this movie, Disney, The Nutcracker and the Four Realms, is on par of awfulness on this movie. But in a weird way, it is a contrast. While the Nutcracker 3D is too grim, this one is too sweet. It's too restrained, too family friendly to the point that it's just sweetly sickening. The best way I can describe this movie is that imagine if you have a cup. You fill it out with whimsy and eggnog. Fill it up. Drink it. And you're gonna feel so sick that you vomit it. And that vomit is a result of that movie. And with that said, it's time for me to talk to you about why I really despise this movie. Oh, there's gonna be spoilers because sometimes I have to let it go. And this is one of those occasions. Let's talk about the plot. Honestly, I was so confused of the plot that on the first 5 minutes. I didn't even get where this was going. Well, I'll give it a shot. Because the movie takes place in Britain with the richest family you could ever see in this kind of movies. And there's this family. We got this. It is a family of 2 daughters, a son, and a father, and they're all grieving because their mother is dead. Apparently, there, like always, there's a Disney rule that you should have one parent or none of them. Okay, I'm just kind of making fun of it because I don't think that it's strictly to Disney. It's kind of like a storytelling trope in order to lessen the blow of many characters on a specific thing. So, but I can understand why people make fun of Disney doing that, because Disney kind of overuses that trope a lot of times. And by the way, this dead mother thing is kind of becoming a little bit of the crux of that movie, because we have our main character named Clara, played by this girl named Mackenzie Foy. They kind of establish that she's the smartest of the girls, and she's kind of like the most sad that her mother died, and they receive gifts. The little kid, he gets toy soldiers. The other daughter, she gets clothing. And the smartest of them all, she receives our main character, Clara. She gets a golden egg, in which cannot be opened until they have a key. She opens it with a special key. And that special key is nowhere to be found. And she's like, yeah, my mother, I'm so sad, my mother's dead, and all this stuff. And the cruel thing is that they always let them know to the father. I don't remember what was the name of the actor. I think it was on Matthew no. You know what? I'll put it here. During those whole segments, they always kind of let the father know that the mother was better than him, even though the guy tried his best, even though in the most pompous way. And then they decided to go to the Christmas party in another rich house because there's gonna be a dance, there's gonna be a ballroom, and they dress up with those fancy dresses that admittedly is kind of beautiful, although a little bit too way overdone. I'm not against fashion. I'm just kind of against overdoing stuff. And some parts comes off a little bit creepy when the father in his hopes to have Clara get over the death of her mother, and that she didn't get a good gift by just kind of like a golden egg. He just said, "You're gonna go there and we're gonna dance." "Dad, I don't want to dance." You're gonna dance with me whether you like it or not." No, he doesn't go as with his hostile manner, but trust me, it kind of felt that way. And boy, that they have kind of like this bickering that it felt both mean spirit, in a strange combination of mean-spiritedness and coldness at the same time. And mostly I blame on the acting, which I will get to that when it's due. And yeah, they go to the party, and Clara goes to see her godfather, who is played by God himself. And I'm talking about Morgan Freeman. Yeah, it's that Morgan Freeman always has this kind of voice that I always kind of know. For some reason, I think that he really is the closest thing to have God's voice. And well, it is shown that she knows how to tinker stuff. She knows how to mechanics, and they always let her know that you look like your mother and all this stuff. And I can't, yeah, but I don't know where that key is. Probably the key is here. So after her fight with the father, they go to the where she has to find her gift. And what a way to find the gift! Apparently, there's this game that they made that they put strings on a giant Christmas tree, and a child must look for the string that has their name attached, and they must follow it. And on the end of the rope, there's going to be the gift. And her brother is the one that shows that, hey, I found a Nutcracker. Oh, and you know what? Have you noticed that I haven't been talking about the Nutcracker? I'll get to that. So, here's the weird thing, and the thing that they wanted to put into this kind of Alice in Wonderland thing. Clara just finds her name, she follows the rope, and she goes up into the mansion. And you might be thinking, oh, they string, it's just too long. And she goes into a hallway, and then from the mansion, she somehow ends up in knockoff Narnia. Yeah, from going upstairs, she magically goes into this winter wonderland paradise, and makes you question, okay, how the frick did she get there? I mean, she didn't enter a wardrobe or something like that. She just got there. I mean, at least even in Alice in Wonderland, she goes into a rabbit hole. Or in Narnia, there's a wardrobe. But no, she just goes there in a hallway, and there she's in a magical place. Oh yeah, and people will say, it's magic. You're gonna just let it go. But you know what? Magic is kind of also a little bit like alchemist. It needs a proper base of explanation, you know, if you want to make it believable. So in this winter wonderland, she finds the key on a pine tree, and then is taken by a mouse, and she follows the mouse to a crossroad, in which it leads to some apparently the dead woods. And on the crossroad guard station, she finds a guy that it looks like he's dressed like the most how can I say, like you know, the usual British royal soldiers. And she says, Nutcracker. And then he comes back, he's alive and all that stuff. The guy, he's played by, what was the name of this guy? Jaden Ferrara Knight. And let me tell you this. This guy, I'm not gonna complain exactly about his acting because I'll get to that later. But what I will complain is that he doesn't look like a Nutcracker. Our main character, Clara, just said, oh, Nutcracker. And yeah, okay, she's a Nutcracker. We have to take her word for it. But no, they didn't even make a makeup of the guy. He just dressed... Do you think that just dressing like a Nutcracker makes you like a Nutcracker? Let's put it in perspective. We could buy this if we were watching at least a Broadway play. Because at least that will give us room to give our imagination. But we as creator, we can do a little bit even more to make it look like a Nutcracker. Like makeup that makes the skin tone make it look like wood. But no, it's just a guy dressed up like a soldier. And all this time is that it wants to make us believe that he's a Nutcracker, but he doesn't. He doesn't look like a Nutcracker. I'm gonna keep rambling on and on about how he doesn't look like a Nutcracker, and it will take a long time. So let's continue on. Which apparently then he says, "Hey, you're Clara, the queen, the daughter of this woman who has this last name that I don't remember. Yeah, that's my mom. Oh, you're the princess. So, what do I be? Oh, there's this rat. I gotta get this rat who has this key in my key. No, you can't go there. There, it's dangerous. So, since I'm a princess, I order you to follow me." So they go there and they go into this woods that has a lot of. Let's say that the biggest threat that in this realm has is that not only the mouse can summon other rats to create monster, but there's also like this tin robotic rusty robots, for lack of better words, that I kind of agree with some people. They kind of look like they jump out from that movie called Heartbeats. And let's say that after escaping that without getting the key, they go to the castle where they treat her like a princess, and she meets the other ruler of the three kingdoms. One of them one of them is technically the ruler of the realm of the flowers. He's played by Eugenio Derbez. The other one, he rules the what was it, the realm of snowflakes. I don't know. I don't remember the name of the actor, but let's say that these two guys, they're not important. They're just there. The only important one is none other than Princess Bubblegum. Okay, I was just kidding. It's not Princess Bubblegum, but it's close to that because it is the ruler of the realm of sweets. And she is the Sugar Plum Fairy, and she's played by Keira Knightley. Oh my God, this woman! I'll get to that when I get to the acting because Jesus, the acting is one of the biggest things that I have. So they tell her the backstory that apparently her Clara's mother, she was the queen of that place. And she brought everyone back to life with a machine that is operated by the same key of that egg in order to activate this laser gun that looks like the laser gun from Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. And that brings them back to life. The toys, that brings toys back to life. So everyone out there are toys that came back to life. And yeah, apparently they also have they can the time period that they go relatively slow. And the story of the realms, it was told in a ballet. Yeah, we just begin to see a ballet session of technically the whole backstory. And it is a shame because that's honestly one of the few moments that I like in which I love ballet. I like watching ballerinas. I love watching people dance because you know how hard ballet is. And it is amazing how the lengths that they go to create that kind of art. I mean, even I have to admit that one of my biggest guilty pleasures is Angelina Ballerina. I'll leave it to that just in case. But the ballet would have been better if, one, it was technically the whole movie. And second of all, we have Keira Knightley interrupting every once in a while saying, oh, and this is the realm of this, this is the realm of that. Not that annoying, except for one thing, her acting, which I'll get to that. But the point is that the fourth realm, where the one where they have the woods and the mice, they have the keys, and they need the keys because they are afraid that realm is gonna invade them, and they need to build up an army. And in order to do that, they need a machine in order to bring more toys back to life. So yeah, technically, then Clara decides that, well, since now I am the queen now, so I'll dress up like a soldier and go with the army that we have in order to retrieve that key. Oh, and Nutcracker, just come on, you're kind of like my second party. Do you notice the Nutcracker is just there? He's played secondary character on a movie called The Nutcracker. So they go into that journey, into that realm, and yeah, after almost all the soldiers get quote-unquote killed, even though they're not killed, it is revealed later. We find out that this realm it not only has this Heartbeats robot, it also has creepy clowns, because after watching Art the Clown in Terrifier, I needed more of that. Although they weren't too scary, I'll say. Here's what I'm gonna sound crazy. I'm sorry to say that, but I'm gonna sound crazy, but I can defend the Nazi mice from Nutcracker 3D. Because I know that it's very grim, and it's something that people don't want to know, that something horrible happened in that time period, and it shouldn't be imitated. But if you don't want things that shouldn't be imitated, we still have to show them, even to children. It might be grim, but this is the reason why I'm a guy who approves of nightmare fuels. Nightmare fuels can be good. Sometimes it can be excessive, but you know what? Every excess is harmful to anyone, even good things. But don't get me wrong, the movie is awful, and also I don't defend some of the tones that the movie has, and the coloring and all this stuff on Nutcracker 3D is too grim. It's too grim that it comes off a little bit too excessive in one way or another. Even though, because I'm a little bit cynical, I do like sometimes when they push it. So at least I'll give Nutcracker 3D this credit. But still, that doesn't excuse it too much. In the same way that the other one tries to play it a little bit too safe, or a little bit too whimsical, that it is just junk food candy that rots your teeth. So, with that out of the way, let me tell you that the realm is actually run by none other than a woman called Mother Ginger, and she's played by Helen Mirren. And apparently the movie came up saying that, yeah, they retrieved the key, but she said, no, you don't know what you're doing. And yeah, we got the twist. The twist is that after they ignite the machine, the sugar plum fairy, you know, the Keira Knightley character, she was all in cahoots. She wanted to build an army of tin soldiers, because tin soldiers obey her. They're cold, they don't have feelings and all this stuff, in order to invade the other realms. That includes the Helen Mirren realm. So technically she became the villain. And boy, that this is the moment where Keira Knightley shows her acting skills. Oh man. I think now it is time for me to talk about the acting, because the acting is abysmal. It's not like the worst acting in the world, you know, Tommy Wiseau thing, but it is something else. It is on par to that other bad movie, A Wrinkle in Time. But you know, at least A Wrinkle in Time, even though that movie was also pretty bad, this one you notice that it tried. It tried a little bit. They didn't execute it well after and other problems. But man, in this one, how can I say? First of all, every actor, they act like no feeling. They feel that they don't know what they're doing, or they feel too restrained. They always like having this look like, or they talk, oh, he talk like this, or you go like this. Mackenzie Foy, you're not getting scot-free. You're very bland. You're really, really bland. You have no emotion. You're always like, how can you do this? Do this. And it's a shame, because there were some parts in which you know that she can do an emotion, but she doesn't. And she doesn't. Jennifer Aurora Knight, I know you tried, but you didn't do it. I know that this guy was on Ready Player One. I think he was there. But man, you did better in that. I think you did better in that movie than in this one. Everybody acts like they wanted to restrain their emotions. Even some characters, you notice that when they want to try very whimsical, they always kind of like jitter like this. Oh man. But the biggest, honestly, Helen Mirren and Morgan Freeman were the only actors who actually tries. Of the you can note, but they're natural. These are more experienced actors, let's say. Helen Mirren can do a decent job, and she comes up as being close to one of the most decent. And Morgan Freeman, again, he's a natural, even though he only appears in 2 scenes. And I forgot to mention that he is wearing a white wig and an eye patch that makes him look like Nick Fury's old long lost brother. Okay, but the biggest award for most overacting of the year is Keira Knightley. Oh man, that woman! Considering the whole how the movie looks, which I'll get to that later, and the way that she acts and the way that how she looks, she really was kind of like the missing character from A Wrinkle in Time. She's overacts to the sweetest level that is just, oh my, it's like, oh my god, I'm becoming people. It's like, you know, she's kind of like the sweetest, sweet Disney princess that went over the top. And when she becomes evil, her cartoonish level went too much. How's it going? Oh. No, seriously, that's how she acts. I know that they tried to make it like a laughable villain that you can't take it seriously, and you can notice she's having a lot of fun with that role. But you know the cost that it becomes a character that is too annoying. That man, I Keira Knightley. But basically, she turns in what will happen if Princess Bubblegum became evil. That's the best explanation I can say for that character arc. Even though her motivation sucks. Apparently they wanted to build the bullshit that saying that she feels hurt that Clara's mother, she abandoned her post as a queen, and they all miss her. And so technically she's doing all that invasion just because she thinks that she's throwing a tantrum that she feels abandoned. That's the kind of story that we went through. I will let you debate on that thing, because personally, that's a really, really weak, childish motivation, even for a villain. I've seen villains with childish motivations. I've seen villains with almost even no motivations. But sometimes a villain that do bad things with no motivation, it sometimes comes up as a better villain than a villain with a weak motivation. So basically, yeah, she creates those tin soldiers. Tin soldiers that are as soulless as the actors themselves. And instead of killing the good guys or having a motivation to kill those good guys, she just locked them up. And then we got Clara feeling guilty of herself because why not? She feels that she wasn't good enough like her mother or something like that. But now that I think of it, why does the story want to concentrate on the story arc on her? And it has the same problem with Gem, like that awful movie of Gem and the Holograms. That apparently there's this family of 3, and apparently the mother, we see only scenes of the mother saying that, Clara, you are the most special of them all. You're smart, you're intelligent, and all this stuff. Ooh, we're playing favoritism. You know that you have another daughter and another child. I do have a little bit of a nitpick on that one, and I say that by experience. I'll leave it on that. Come to think of it, at least in Nutcracker 3D, they acknowledged the little brother that also had an arc of its own. Not a good one, but still. Oh my god, what am I doing? That, even if my cell phone agrees. What do you think? Jeez. Okay, let's continue on. So let's say that they make peace with the mouse. The mouse is actually the Rat King. That's their version of the Rat King. We got then the Nutcracker, who he goes to warn the other realm. Do you see what I mean? I'm still talking about that Nutcracker like he's just there. He doesn't do nothing very special. He just kind of there and just follow orders. That's it. And yeah, they kind of wanted to build up that he is a very loyal Nutcracker. But you know what? I don't think that loyalty, it always means following orders. Following orders and loyalty are two different spectrums and two different meanings. I don't think that I want to talk about loyalty right now. I think I'll leave it for another topic. We have to get this move on. Yeah, we got Keira Knightley commanding this big-ass giant robot and battling this horde of tin soldiers. There is a moment that also kind of makes me question, because there is this scene in which during the battle, one of the tin soldiers stabs another tin soldier on the back, and then it makes the expression like, wasn't tin soldiers supposed to don't have any feelings? You're giving me plot holes, movie. And let's say that our main character, Clara, she just gets to the machine, and after a bullshit monologue with the sugar plum, she managed to rig the machine in order to direct the shooting at her, and she turns into the porcelain doll. And the day is saved. Nothing more happens, and she returns to the other world with the key. And I don't know how the hell everything goes, because she just gets out of the place with no question about how even she got there. It's kind of like, I get the feeling that there's a secret room on that big ass mansion. She finds Morgan Freeman, and yeah, Morgan Freeman gives his talk, and he earns his freckles again. And she finds the father, and yeah, they do their dance. Oh, I forgot about the egg. The egg. It's a good time to talk about the egg, because that egg that she always holds. After she finds the key, she opens it, and it's a music box. And she like a spoiled brat. She's like, that's it? And she doesn't throw it away or anything. She just keeps it. But later, when she gets because she was become a prison, she and feeling guilty, she opens the music box, and the music box apparently has a turning mechanism that it has a mirror, because apparently there is a code, because she got because when she received that egg, she also had a letter from her mother saying that everything that you need is inside this egg. So it's a mirror, and saying that all that she needed is to be confident on herself. I'm sorry, but you didn't build into that. And honestly, you know how this could have worked better? At least with a picture of her family. Showing that your family are there to cope with your grief. And not just yourself. Technically, that's just me. And yeah, she uses the egg to put the music number. The father's like, hey, that was the first time I danced with your mother. And then they dance, and the other siblings appear because the movie suddenly remembers that they exist. And then the end. Oh, and by the way, yeah, this movie sometimes also used the Tchaikovsky's Nutcracker suit music. Sometimes. And I want to apologize if this review is getting long, but I had to talk about it. This movie is total cynical garbage. It's the movie that is, again, one of those that looks pretty and has no substance. They just do it just to say that we're gonna celebrate this holiday season with too much snow, too much people dress up with prim and proper, just that. And it's sad, especially sad that during the credits we see again the best part of this movie, which is that woman in a ballet and a shirtless guy accompanies her, and they do a good dance. Do me a favor, and if you want to watch the Nutcracker, go to the nearest theater that they have it, and go watch a play. Even I've seen high school plays of that have better passion on this suite more than this movie. That's technically what I have from this one. And now that I think of it, since it's November, I bet this is one of those movies that it just wants to be an Oscar bait. I bet it's gonna be nominated for best makeup or best wardrobe, best costume, and I can see it. They work hard on that. Still, that doesn't excuse that it's a good movie. I mean, look at this. If Suicide Squad won an Oscar, even though their makeup was lame, this one will do. I bet my cross that even though I'm not a Christian, that it will win or be nominated for that. And don't come up with the excuse by saying that, oh, it's for children. It's for children. It's gonna be terrible. You're just being a cynical prick because you're an adult and all this stuff. No, maybe I overanalyze too much, and I think that it's time to stop giving those kind of excuses that just because it is a medium that they wanted to have it for the whole family doesn't excuse cynicism, laziness, or too much goody two-shoesness. I always strive for a neutral alignment in these kind of movies. Neutrality between too grim or too sweet. I prefer the middle road. Both extremes are sickening, totally sickening. And yeah, that's all I have to say. It's not okay. Again, this movie didn't make me angry. It didn't make me very angry as some other worse movie that I have seen. But it's still a very, very fabricated, soulless film. So that's all I have to say. I might sound soulless, but I'm not a Tin Man. I do consider myself that my sensibilities are a little bit too strong. And sometimes convincing me otherwise is a really tough nut to crack.